Alright guys, today is March 20th and here is update number 2. So this is gonna span across a few weeks, so I may not upload this into a few weeks later. So here's what I have. In this first bed here I have some hornets, and then the middle one here, these purple ones there, they're very pretty. Those are the Fidalgo Raksha, and it's a cross with a Grande something, but I got that from Jeff, one of our friend from Pepper Lovers. It's a very beautiful variety. So the fruit's amazing. I did a review on it already, so if you want to check it out, I'll link you below. And then the last row over there, those are my white Thai, my favorite variety. So I always grow that every season. I have to grow at least 5 plants of those. So that is the first bed, and I have some salads here, lettuce that I got going. And then you see those onions, you're probably wondering what the heck those are. So I have a whole bunch of onions that I'm not using, and they're just growing all over the place because those are propagated onion, and I had to dig them up to make space for my peppers, and I don't have a place to put them, and so I placed them there. They smell like onion, so I'm thinking that it will deter pests, so that's why I have them there. I don't know for sure if it worked, and it's just an experiment for me. So in the future, if it does work, I'm gonna tell you guys. And here on the second raised bed, those are red romaine. Again, you see those onions. I got some fava beans here, some other salad greens there, a bunch of spinach that was eaten up by mice. Guys, if you think that mice don't like spinach or vegetable, you're wrong, because I caught these guys on my my camera, the sensor camera that they use for like hunting and stuff like that, and I actually saw those either mice or rats. They actually ate all of those spinach over there. So then I have my onions here to see if that would deter them. And this device here is a solar sensor power light, and this is really funny because if it detects any motion, the light will come on. It will scare the crap out of those mice. And it's so that's why I have them there, because these are extras. So I'll see if that would work enough to deter the pests that have been eating all of my spinach over here. See, they're all eaten up. You see that? All chewed up at the top. So that's why I have those lights there, because the lights kind of scared them away. And here I have another bed full of lemon starburst, scarlet rose, peach star-kissed, and this one here is the crimson star. So those are all my crosses. And here, these are all of the hornets and the Starracha bonnet. And in this bed I have some Texas crimson bonnet, Texas chocolate bonnet. Oh man, I forgot to label this one. I don't know what it is. So I'll need to figure that out and see what it is. And then this bed here, see, I have another light there. I have, let's see here, this is a super pekin. This is one of my stargazer. And then those are just tomatoes. And here I have sweet misery, the torch, and then those are the sugar rush over there. And then I have serranos here, cucumbers, and then peas in the back. Those are just radish that I place in the winter time to test, and they're working out really well right there. Grow throughout the winter with the freezing and everything. And here I have the Gangsta yellow. And then the last bed, I need to dig those onions out. Those are garlic, and then I will have more over here. Some of the varieties that are still young, so I will put them out later. Alright guys, today is March 24th and I just wanted to give you guys a quick update and show you what I'm doing. So I still see pests like rabbits and stuff around on my critter cam. So I decided to take a preventive measure additional to what I'm already doing. I put chili powder here. These chili powder I bought at an Indian grocery store. It's actually pretty cheap. I bought a whole box of it for like $1.59, and I was able to go through the whole garden and just sprinkle chili powder right around the pepper plants and all the other plants that may be eaten. These things work really well because they're powder form, and then the critters like the mice and the rabbits, they usually sniff around like that and it'll irritate them. So then they'll just leave it alone. So that's what I'm doing right now. I just want to give you guys a quick update to show you that is one of the preventive measures. I'll come back later and confirm if this works or not. Alright guys, today is April 9th, 2019, and I'm going to give you guys a quick update and show you some of the plants, and then I'll let you know about the chili powder that I have been using. So here is the plant that I overwintered from last season. I basically just left it in the garage, and then very little light, just regular fluorescent light of the garage light, and I turn it on at night. And now it's warm, and then I put it outside, and before I do that I cut the tree down to half so that it would allow the tree to sort of like start over. I say tree, but I think pepper plants, and instead of tree, they're pepper plants. Sorry about that, guys. And then trim there. So all 4 branches, I just basically chop it completely down, and now it's starting over, so it's a good sign. So this one is going to grow very, very strong. So if you guys happen to overwinter plant, you can provide very little light, very little water, because in the winter time when it's really cold, it doesn't grow much, so it doesn't require a lot of water or a lot of light. So basically we're just trying to keep it alive. So before you take it outside in the spring, make sure to give it a good trimming, that way it can start over. Oh, before we go, that is my Jabuti Kaba. I did the exact same thing. These plants are tropical, or these trees are tropical trees, so little cold will give it some kind of frost damage. Look, so anything below 40s would not be good for this plant if you guys ever grow one. And so you see, that's below 40 degrees temperature right there. And now it's warm, so that one is gonna be okay. Got some aloe. Okay, and here is my tomato plant that I grew inside my tent. The berries crazy cherry. I grew it in a cup and then transplanted to this double bucket, and it's actually doing really, really good. So let me show you. See that there? That's a little bit extra water that flows down into there. I might eventually feed it some hydroponic fertilizer to get it going some more, but it's just in a little bucket, and look at that, fruits already very early. Okay, here is one of my raised beds, and I have some hornets here. White tie over there, man, they are already growing and already putting out flowers, so I need to pinch those off because they're too young and too small to flower. And the ones in the middle are the Fidalgo Raksha. Man, those are really beautiful plants. They will produce purple fruits that are just amazing looking. So this time of the year is the worst time, kinda, because pests are like just waiting for your plants. So I've seen aphids already on here. You see, these are already flowering, and you see how weak they look. So you don't want them to fruit right now because they're just not strong enough. And if they do fruit, you're only gonna get like 1 or 2, and they're gonna look just horrible. So we're gonna sacrifice the top of these plants and let them start over. So I'll show you what to do. Okay, you see here, very weak plants, not growing really well. So if you leave this to grow, they're gonna remain that size and it's just gonna look horrible. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just pinch it off. Don't worry about it, guys. It looks crazy and all, but I promise you, when you do it early, it's gonna be recovering in no time. Okay, so we'll do this as well, because you see those flowers, we don't want those. And throw these away, because I think I saw aphids on them. So put them far away from your plant. Okay, I saw aphids on here too, so trash those somewhere else. And then for this, same thing, there's already fruiting, and the bad looking leaves, just pull those off. They're not gonna do anything for the plant. Okay, so that's the first topping, and let me show you some more. All right, these are my basically like greens, and then I threw in a few white tie here. They're not looking good. They came out of hydroponics, so it's gonna have a little bit of a recovery process. And there as well, there's one over there. Okay, and here's a sneak peek at my pear tree. I think I showed it in one of the videos. They were grown in those mini hydro, so I transplanted them here. I think these are just a few months old. Okay, here's one of the raised beds, and let me show you some signs of roly-polies. You see here, because the leaves are like so far down on the ground, so the roly-poly, they live in the ground in the evening, so they'll come out at night and they'll chew on it. So those holes are usually roly-poly. They sell these pellets that you can get. They call it slug go, and you can get rid of roly-polies that way. I've done it before. I did last year. It works wonderful, so I may do it again this year. You just sprinkle it around here and it will get rid of them. And there are some crimson star, scarlet rose here. These are lemon starbursts. They're looking horrible right now. That's because the weather has been really cold lately. And I mean, when I say cold, it's like, you know, in the 50s or lower 50s. And that's not good for peppers, because at that temperature, they really don't grow that well. So they need about 75 degrees, which we're gonna get very soon. And these are hornets and Starracha bonnets. And here I have one of my ground cherries. I always grow ground cherries every year, so that's one of them. And here is the other raised beds. I'll just go through real quick, not much is happening. And here's the other one. Got my tomatoes there, they're already fruiting right there. So I grew these in mini hydro and then transplant them outside, and they look beautiful right now. And this is probably the best looking raised bed. The plants are large. Wow, that one's even throwing out flowers. I don't know if I'll probably just gonna pinch these off. Really, I'm not ready for these to fruit yet, so let's just pinch these off. I want bigger plants. Just throw these away. I think these are doing the same thing, so go ahead and see, just pinch those off. This one as well. So they're just too small to allow to fruit, and by the end of the season, I'll show you guys. I mean, these are gonna grow massive. All right, guys, so back to this raised bed here. I forgot to mention about the chili powder, and the chili powder actually works. And my spinach here have been eaten like crazy, and so I threw a bunch of chili powder all over, and then it actually worked. Nothing's eating it right now, so the spinach are growing really, really well. So I can confirm that it does work. But the problem is when it rains, you're gonna have to reapply, because it'll just wash the chili into the ground, and it would no longer work. You see the different color ones, those are the chili powder there. So there you go, guys. That is just a quick one. Chili powder will work. They're very cheap. Go to your Indian grocery store. They cost like $1.49, and you get like a huge box, and you can use it for like a bunch of times. So I'll be back soon once those plants that I just topped make some progress, and I will show you what they look like. Alright guys, today is April 17th, and here is a quick update of how my pepper plants are doing. I'll show you a few that we topped to slow them down, and they're actually coming back. But we'll start with this one that just came out of my garage about maybe 2 weeks ago. So this is the Overwinter plant from last year. Beautiful plant, looking great right now. And the temperature is still a little cool, unusually cool for this time of the year. But it's kind of cool in the evening and then warmer in the day. But it's not the proper temperature yet, so the plants are still not growing well. But by late April to May, they will start to take off. So I'll show you what they look like today, and then we'll follow up later in the season. So here's my first one, and here are two propagated branches from last season. I'm not sure if I showed this in the video, but basically before the season was over last year, I cut down the plant, cut down two really large branches, and I just placed it in water the entire winter. And they actually rooted, and I just kept them in water, nothing special. And then now I placed them in this container, and they are growing. Not looking good yet, but they will once I do some pruning and when the weather gets much warmer. So they prefer 75 degrees Fahrenheit to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, and here is another bed with stuff that are not looking good yet. It's just because the weather has been a little chilly, so they're not growing yet. And then on top of that, aphids just come over and just begin sucking on these leaves here. See, you see those right there? Those little... Make sure when you see ants, always check when you see ants. So let's crush these things right here. See, just crush them. Those are aphids. And I mean, even if you crush them, the next day you come back, you see a few more. See, look, this guy's trying to escape. See that? So make sure you just get rid of all of them, and check every day, because they'll come back. So anyway, so that's what I've been dealing with. Aphids is always like this every season in the spring. If you see black ants, check your plant. You will likely see aphids on them. Okay, so I added these new ones here. So I tried to grow some California Wonder, and the seeds never sprouted. And luckily I went to my local nursery and they had some, and these are $1.49. You cannot beat that price, $1.49, and that is the size you get. I actually topped it because it had buds and it was going to become a fruit, and this is too small. And sometimes you get a pot that has two plants. See, for $1.49 you can actually split them up, and you get two plants for the same price. Okay, here is where the action is. I have plants that we topped last time, and they are making really good progress. See that? All of those shoots here. So now you can actually remove these here. Make sure you throw it somewhere else because aphids might come. Just throw it in your compost. So you don't need these large leaves anymore. So these will spread out and would probably fight each other for space. I shouldn't have this many plants in this raised bed, but yeah, I have so many, so I didn't want to waste them. But I would only recommend, like, say 1 and 2 and maybe 3 plants total for this 5 feet, because these things get enormous. I will show you later in the season. Alright guys, today is April 26, 2019, and I will give you guys another quick update. So as you can see, these are some of the plants that I moved out of my tent here into here. So those are some additional plants, and then that one there, the overwinter plant, is looking amazing, growing really nice. And my tomato that was grown indoor, brought out here, and as you can see, it's already ripening. So that is the advantage of growing stuff inside and then bringing them outside. I mean, they really just gonna take off and produce very quickly. These are the propagated branches from last year in water, the whole entire winter just sitting in water, and now they're growing. And just want to show off my arugula. Man, they are just beautiful, doing amazing. We just had heavy rain, so these guys are just loving it. So I'm gonna have salads for a long time. Okay, and a few pepper plants here. This bed is actually doing the worst. I think it might be my soil mixture, so I need to try to correct that. It is too compact, so I need to loosen up a little bit. But these guys are just doing horrible, and we have like really crazy weather. It rained a lot, and then it was a little cool. This one is also not looking very good, but that's because this bed is shaded by the fence, so it recently just got sun, so I'm gonna have better growth very soon. Same with this one here. So I'll show you the beds that get a lot of sun and you see the difference. And there is my ground cherry. I grow this every season. I have ground cherries like everywhere. I have to like pull them out because I have so much. The pods just drop and then they just sprout everywhere. Okay, and this bed here gets a little sun, so it's actually looking better. You can see much more growth. I've been checking aphids. I get a few every few days and I just squish them, and that's how I get rid of them. California Wonder here, I just added this. I bought it at a nursery for $1.50. Very, very, very cheap. And here are some other plants that are actually doing really good. Another California Wonder, they're great. Really sweet, good for a hot sauce. Look at my tomatoes. Man, they are just doing amazing. You see, these things are eventually will grow all the way up here, and it will probably just outgrow the cage, and it possibly may shade the peppers that are there, so I might have to do a lot of trimming. So you see fruits right there. That's a berries crazy cherry from Paula. This is my chocolate cherry, and this is my sweet 100. So I'm gonna have a lot of cherry tomatoes this year. Okay, so I mentioned the beds that get a lot of sun. You see the difference? Growing really well, much larger, because it gets good sun. But now that we're almost in May, the entire garden is gonna get a lot of sun. So, and here I have another bed that gets plenty of sun, and the cucumber plants are just going nuts right now. So I'm already getting cucumbers. Let me show you. See there, that's a cucumber right there. That one. And there's one right here. These are the white Itachi, so it's gonna look very interesting. And then here I have the Nokia, I think that's how they pronounce it. I have fruits over there too. And this one here is already turning into a fruit. See that flower? Okay, and these are my Comfrey. Man, these things are just ridiculous. They just are like immortal plants. You can't really kill them. I tried to take that particular plant out. I dug everything up, and one piece of the bulb remained, and then it just came back. So what I normally do with these Comfrey, because the leaves are really good for nutrients to feed the plants, so as soon as it starts to get this big, I just pour the leaves off like this so that it can not shade my plants. And then you just tear this in little pieces and then you bury them like I did here. You see, just shred them down and then just bury them right there, and then they will eventually turn into nutrients to feed the plants. So that's what I've been doing with these guys. They grow like crazy, so you're gonna get a lot of leaves. You can also compost them. They're very good for composting. And these here are Tyrannos from Jay, and here are my sweet apples, and those are my regular Serrano, and those, I think they're Sugar Rush, I think, Sweet Misery. Alright, so those guys are doing really well, and as you can see, these are the top plants. I topped them earlier. You see how wide they are? So if you do it early enough, they will recover very well and spread out like that. So these are the ones that I haven't done yet, but I don't think I will because it's already in May. Forgot to mention these are topped right here. You see? I pinched the top off, and that one over there is not topped. I topped this one and also that one. Okay, and the last bed, but I will have more later. So these are the Gangster Yellow, and those are just, oh, and there's another Comfrey right there. I placed a small piece of the bulb there and it grows. So those things are like unkillable, guys. They're good to grow, easy, but sometimes they could take over your bed. Anyway, guys, that is all for this update. I'm gonna have some good stuff coming up soon because this is when they will start growing like crazy. So in the next update, you're going to see these plants are gonna be a lot bigger. So I hope you enjoyed. Oh, forgot to mention, I did fertilize one time using the Alaska fish emulsion. Just 1 tablespoon per gallon of water as they instruct. I think that's what it is on the instruction, but just follow that and just feed the plant one time, and then later in the season you're gonna have to feed it more once they grow a lot. So thank you for watching. Keep an eye out for the next episode.